and good evening, everybody. Welcome to At America. My name is Hadila, one of the e-guides here in At America, and I hope all of you are staying safe and healthy in this very fine evening. Okay, for those of you who are new here, At America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. Our event for today is Youth Power, YSEALI Youth Day. But before we start the event, I have here a little fun fact. Did you know that Rahmania Rahman, Indonesian YSEALI alumni, founded the floating schools for young islanders, which sails around a few islands of South Sulawesi and Aceh. Isn't that amazing? And now, let us hear an opening remarks from Ibu Mary Trishak, Assistant Cultural Affairs Officer of the U.S. Embassy, Jakarta. To Ibu Mary, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone, and welcome to At America. It's delightful to see you all here today, and I'm so excited to be talking about one of my favorite programs, the YSEALI program tonight. So as Hadifa said, my name is Mary Trishak. I'm the Assistant Cultural Affairs Officer at the U.S. Embassy in Jakarta, and I do have the best job at the Embassy because I am in charge of youth engagement and the YSEALI program. So for those of you who might not know what YSEALI is, it's the Young Southeast Asian Leadership Initiative. It was started by the US government to create a space for young people from ASEAN countries to develop their leadership skills, to develop their technical skills, and to network with one another across ASEAN and the United States to solve some of the region's most pressing problems, like the environment and economic resilience, and civic engagement, and education. So every year we have YSEALI members from across ASEAN coming together to do workshops, to do exchanges to the United States, to universities, or maybe for internships. And then also they can compete for some seed funding for their community projects. And tonight we're gonna hear from some amazing YSEALI alumni who are solving the problems in their communities through this seed funding opportunity. It's called the YSEALI Seeds for the Future. So sometimes when you think about a leader, you might think about a CEO or a president or someone who's very powerful, right? But did you know that you can be a leader too? Do you think you can be? Yes. Leaders are just normal people who see a problem in their society, who see a challenge, and they rise to meet that challenge, and they find a solution to that problem, and they bring people together. And people from all across Indonesia, from very rich areas, from very poor areas, from Jakarta, from what's the smallest island in Indonesia? Of the 17,000 islands, what's the smallest island? Riau? No. I don't know. From the smallest island in Indonesia, from Papua all the way to Aceh, young people across Indonesia are leaders, and they are solving the problems in their communities through YSEALI program and through the Seeds for the Future program. So tonight we're going to hear from Cynthia and David and Yev and Hastin from Indonesia, but also from across ASEAN, to hear how they're using this program to solve some of the challenges in their communities and how they realize that they are leaders too through this program. So I hope that you enjoy tonight's program, and I hope if you haven't already become a YSEALI member that you go ahead and sign up for YSEALI on your way out. And for those of you online, on Zoom, on Instagram, on Facebook, if you're in the Philippines, if you're in Vietnam, if you're in Thailand, wherever you are, you can sign up for YSEALI too, and we will have our moderators put the link in the chat for you so you can just sign on up. All right, have a great night tonight, and thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right, that was a wonderful opening remarks by Ibu Mary. Thank you so much. And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce you all to our moderator for today, Nasya Ayudianti from U.S. Mission to ASEAN. Kak Nasya, the stage is yours.
All right. Thank you very much, Kashadila. Hello. Good night, everyone. Good evening, YSEALI friends. With great pleasure, the YSEALI team welcomes you in celebrating YSEALI Youth Day. Let's give a round of applause. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your enthusiasm in joining our event, whether it be through Facebook live stream, Zoom audience, or live here in America, Jakarta. Hello, and also welcome to our Facebook audience in Malaysia, apa kabar, to our friends in Philippines, Mabuhay, and also our friends in Laos, Sabaidi, and all the friends in Zoom from across Southeast Asia, from Brunei to Timor-Leste. Let's give them a round of applause. All right. All right, so it's a full house here. I'm very glad to see all of y'all faces. It's very nice to be here live in the audience at America. But we've also got a lot of friends here in our Zoom chat. They're very enthusiastic. We're gonna do a little bit of a shout out. So I'm gonna say hello to Maya from Indonesia. Thank you so much, Maya, for joining us. Thank you to Dexter from the Philippines. Thank you so much for joining us here. Thank you to Aura, and also thank you to Villavan from Lao PDR. It's so great to see all of you guys here, and it's so great to be here celebrating YSEALI Youth Day. So, as Shadila have introduced me, my name is Nasha from the YSEALI team at the U.S. Mission to ASEAN, and I'll be happily hosting today's event. So, the YSEALI Youth Day is a showcase of our amazing YSEALI Seeds project from Indonesia, from Malaysia, the Philippines, and beyond, all creating an impact in their communities and also demonstrating the power of Southeast Asian youth. So today we will have our keynote speaker, Cynthia Yu, the U.S. Youth Observer to the United Nations, our YSEALI Seed speaker, David Chok from Aris Academy from Malaysia, Hastin from Diadic of Indonesia, and Kevin Cuevas of #GrowASEAN from the Philippines. So we'll be hearing much from them, and we'll also have a lot of discussion in the breakout room session as well. So stay tuned for that. Now, I'm sure that you guys have also noticed the booths out there, and I see that some of you guys have been exploring those booths as well. So today we've got our YSEALI booth from the U.S. Mission to Indonesia, Aminaf, the YSEALI Seeds Project booths of Diadik, Panti Chete, and also Fonik Ashik. All right, so don't forget to visit those booths and get to know more about them. You guys can ask and also learn so much more about YSEALI programs, opportunities, signing up for membership, and also learning more about the Fulbright Scholarship and the YSEALI Seeds grantee itself. So I'm gonna ask the audience here, have you guys heard about YSEALI Seeds before? Yeah, some of you guys have. Are there anyone who has not heard of it? Don't be shy. All right, so for any of you guys that might not know yet, YSEALI Seeds is the project for the future program that grants competition to support innovative initiative in Southeast Asia and provide funding for young leaders to carry out projects that improve their communities, countries, and also the region. So this program is supported and sponsored by the U.S. Department of State and is funded through a grant from the U.S. Mission to ASEAN. So as we've also introduced, we've got Diadik, which is Hasin project that aims to empower Indonesian teachers by creating a psychologically safe learning environment. We've also got our booth, Panti Chete, there, that aims to develop IT knowledge and experience to orphanage residents in South Jakarta, Indonesia. And last but not least, we've also got our booth, Fonik Ashik, a project that aims to lessen the number of illiterate people in Indonesian marginal areas. So there's a very interesting booth. I would love to go there and get to know them more. Now, today is an incredibly special day, not because we are celebrating the YSEALI Youth Day and International Youth Day with the theme of intergenerational solidarity, creating a world for all ages, but also the ASEAN Day on August 8th. So as we celebrate ASEAN Day as well, we'll feature our YSEALI Seeds project from the region to showcase the power of Southeast Asian youth and the impact that they are bringing to the community. So our session today will be interactive. So I hope that you guys came curious and also wanting to learn more. If you guys have any questions, something you're curious about, perhaps you want to know how you can start your own YSEALI Seeds, our speakers would love to answer them. So prepare a question for our audience on Facebook live stream and also on Zoom. You guys can write it down on the chat box. And for our live audience here at America, you guys can raise your hands and ask the question directly. As we celebrate YSEALI Youth Day, we'd also kindly hope for everyone to be respectful of each other and be mindful of our differences. Let's practice tolerance and also create a healthy and safe environment for everyone for our event today. All right, so without further ado, let's welcome our very first speaker, Cynthia Yu, a U.S. Youth Observer to the United Nations. Cynthia, hi, how's it going?
Hi, how are you?
All right, so great to have you here. Everyone's here super excited to hear from you. So let me introduce you guys to Cynthia. In her role, Cynthia has represented the young people at the UN and has led global initiatives for sustainability, diversity, and human rights. She has reached millions of young people for international affairs, including her work to reinforce the European Union's commitment to child welfare and to launch a youth advocacy campaign at the UN General Assembly that amassed over 450 million engagement. That is incredible, Cynthia. And this fall, Cynthia will also be attending Harvard University as an MPP candidate. All right, so YSEALI friends, please welcome Cynthia Yu. Cynthia, the floor is yours. Let's give it up for Cynthia.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction, and thank you also for having me. And welcome, everyone. My name is Cynthia Yu, and I serve as the U.S. Youth Observer to the United Nations. As y'all have kind of heard before, in my role, I represent U.S. youth at the UN and create year-long youth engagement programs to connect young people with global affairs. I'm so honored to join all of you during YSEALI Youth Day in honor of International Youth Day and to celebrate all the great work young leaders just like y'all are doing every single day to make our world a better place. So before I begin, I want to start with the chat wave. Now, for those of you who aren't too familiar with what a chat wave is, I would really love for this to be as interactive as possible for a lot of our members, including everybody who's in the chat right now. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions and I'll count off from 3. So I'll say 3, 2, 1. And when I say 1, you are going to put your answer into the chat box based off of what it is. So as a quick example, where are you calling in from? I'll give you a few seconds to put it into the chat. And whenever you're ready, 3, 2, 1. Right, Malaysia, Philippines, Vietnam. Oh, somebody from Texas. This is great. So we have people from all around the world, but thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us for this incredible event. Now, next question. What day of August is International Youth Day? I'll give you a few seconds, and whenever you're ready, 3, 2, 1. All right, some people have been guessing the 8th, the 3rd, one person got it. All right, so International Youth Day is this year on August 12th, and the theme of this year is intergenerational solidarity. But I know that some of you are wondering, what does this mean? According to the United Nations, the world needs to leverage the full potential of all generations. Solidarity across generations is key for sustainable development, and we must collaborate to foster successful and equitable intergenerational relations and partnerships to ensure that no one is left behind. Through my work as the Youth Observer, I've seen how ageism, also known as prejudice or discrimination on the basis of age, impacts our generation's ability to advocate for pressing global issues. Many of our world's greatest challenges hit us way more than older generations. Think of issues like climate change, global pandemic, and mental health. All are crises that were born from decades of disarray. And yet, time and time again, as young people, a lot of times people feel like we're not represented or taken seriously at the decision-making tables. It's programs like YSEALI that's empowering people just like us to speak out and have a seat at the table and use our voices to do more good. In a world of disarray, it's leaders just like you who must harness the goals of YSEALI, the UN, and the SDGs to build intergenerational solidarity towards a stronger future. The UN writes that fostering intergenerational solidarity between generations is more than ever necessary to ensure an inclusive and sustainable recovery. And while there are many aspects of intergenerational solidarity that we can talk about today, I really want to highlight a topic that strikes a chord with many Asians across the globe: mental health. Growing up as an Asian American in the United States, I learned of how intergenerational trauma can continue to impact people decades and generations later. For instance, the war, poverty, and hunger that my grandparents lived through continue to affect me, not just through the stories that they've passed down, but also through how my parents have raised me and how I act on a daily basis. And yet, mental health is a rising issue for Generation Z that many Asian communities still have yet to accept or fully understand. For example, in my home country, according to the American Psychological Association, Asian Americans are 3 times less likely to seek mental health services than the control group. Globally, mental health, which rarely manifests physically, is highly stigmatized, especially among older generations who might not be familiar with the concept. And this hurts us as leaders in 2 ways. First, mental health is health, and by ignoring our internal struggles, we're ignoring the very things that stop us from succeeding. And second, these barriers keep us from leading and living to our fullest potential. But change starts with us. In alignment with this year's theme for International Youth Day on intergenerational solidarity, we hold the key to changing the conversations being held about us, not just about mental health, but about our community as a whole. Like many who think about mental health, many of the issues we care about are often swept under the rug. Having conversations with our elders, mentoring those who are younger than us, and creating spaces for dialogue are the first steps towards building a bridge to a better tomorrow. And with that in mind, I want to ask one more chat wave question before I go to all of our friends in the chat and all of our audience members watching live. What will you do after today to build intergenerational solidarity? Whenever you're ready, 3, 2, 1. So thank you so much, and I would welcome all of you to sign up for the YSEALI program, and to those of you joining us in person, please visit the booths if you are in person.
All right, thank you very much, Cynthia, for your presentation. It is so incredible to hear about you raising awareness on those issues, and especially with ageism and intergenerational solidarity. It's also something that it's important for us to acknowledge, because even though youth are the future of our countries, we cannot deny that it takes everyone to build a safe environment to be better. And that's why intergenerational solidarity is super important. Would you agree, Cynthia?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you so
right?
much.
Right. So thank you so much for raising awareness of that issue, and of course on mental health as well. So right now we're going to be opening up the Q&A session for you guys to ask to Cynthia about the youth, intergenerational solidarity, and so much more about that. So for the first round, we're going to accept 3 questions first, but we are open and welcome to other rounds, of course, if we have a lot of questions, more than we expected. So we're gonna take the questions from the Zoom, the live audience here at America, and also our Facebook live stream. All right, so does anyone want to ask a question? Please raise your hand here, guys, if you wanna ask a question directly. Oh, okay. So it seems that we've already got a question from Zoom here. It is from Hari Sharan, and they would like to know, what is your advice on joining the YSEALI program while having a packed semester on current uni days? And I think this question could also translate on how do we effectively divide our time and still becoming productive, but also paying attention to our academic duties.
Oh, that is such a great question. Thank you for asking. Number one, I would just definitely recommend if you are joining in person to visit the booths and talk to the people who are there about joining YSEALI. And if you can't join in person, the YSEALI team is so amazing and they are happy to support you even remotely. So definitely reach out to the YSEALI team because they are so supportive and their ultimate goal is to help you as a leader develop. So they will work with you based off of schedule and based off of what you're interested in to really ensure that you are getting those skills necessary to serving as a global youth leader. In terms of how you balance everything, that is such a great question because I actually just graduated from undergrad and I know how tough it can be to be a student who also cares about advocating and leading. At least for me, I definitely live by prioritizing. So, of course, you have to prioritize the things that you have to do every day, like eating and sleeping and studying, but then also thinking about ways that you can, as a leader, delegate tasks and inspire other people to join in this larger movement. No leader does everything by themselves. The definition of a leader, quite literally, includes being able to inspire and bring in others into your cause. So working with others in your community and other people who are in your university for this larger movement, getting them inspired and involved, and giving every single person a different role so that you can split up the tasks and work as a team for a larger cause is a great way to ensure that you are still getting things done without feeling like you have to do everything yourself. And I would definitely encourage you to think about ways that you can make things maximize your time and make things more efficient. So, for example, hosting meetings with as many people as possible and finding creative ways and solutions to reach out to people is a great way to reach as many people while still being efficient with your time. So definitely please feel free to reach out to the YSEALI team. Please feel free to reach out to me too at US Youth Observer, and I'm happy to answer more questions about this if you have any more too.
Oh, wow. That is such great advice. I honestly feel like I needed that advice too. So thank you so much, Cynthia, for sharing that with us. I think it's also great how, everyone is excited or they have a cause that they care about. I think what I've also seen from you is that being a leader means that you're also passionate about something and you want to make people know that cause that you're passionate about. So thank you so much for sharing that advice. We're gonna go to the live audience here at America. Does anyone want to ask a question? Please just raise your hands, guys, if you want to ask a question about Youth Day or also Cynthia's experience as a U.S. Youth Observer to the United Nations or anything of that matter. Is there anyone that would like to ask a question? You could just raise your hand. All right, so since we haven't got any question for the live audience, we're gonna go back to our Zoom because wow, there's actually quite a lot of excited people here on Zoom. All right, so a question from David from Burma. He would like to know how to advocate the issue of mental health. What is the best way to advocate the issue of mental health as well, especially when we come from an environment that people are not very aware of the issue of mental health?
Oh, David, I love your question because that has been something that I'm deeply passionate about, and I've been working on it for the past year to see what we can do to build intergenerational solidarity on this issue in particular. I know as a first generation American and as an Asian American how tough it can be to break through this message with your audience. And we actually held a lot of different workshops for the Asian American and Pacific Islander community in the United States with the Asian Mental Health Project. And a few of the top pieces of advice that we gave young people who were participating in our workshops and in our Instagram lives were number one, to just speak with your elders. I know that it can be super tough, especially culturally. I know coming from an Asian American background, a lot of times it's hard to talk to people who are older than us and share what we're going through. But ways that you can get them to take your issue seriously is to also talk about the physical consequences of mental health. So, for example, I experience anxiety all the time. And sometimes it leads me to shake a lot, or it makes me actually, my heart rate will be way higher than usual. And so when you talk to your doctor about this, and your doctor can validate what you're feeling and tell your parents that what you are experiencing mentally is resulting in these physical consequences, and that can be a huge revelation for a lot of elders. Another thing to think about is to quite literally speak from their experiences. I, in many ways, being a first generation American, have grown up with a lot of privileges that my parents did not have when they were growing up. And so, speaking from their experience, I will even talk about some of the stories that they shared with me when they were young, and even say, I know that this made you feel like X, Y, or Z, and this is how I feel right now. Because in many ways we have experienced the same things, but just in different environments. So, really, storytelling and building that solidarity and talking about those physical manifestations, and even having your doctor validate that and tell that to your parents too, are great ways to start those conversations. And another thing too is really talking to younger generations too, because the reality is young people right now are going to be adults in the future. They're going to be leaders of tomorrow, and even now everybody on this call is a current young leader. So if you can convince the next generation of how important this is, and if you can get them inspired to take action, you are quite literally changing the conversation tomorrow, starting today.
Well, thank you so much, Cynthia, for that answer. I absolutely agree with you. I think to solve a problem, we need to acknowledge it, right? So that's why it's very important to start that conversation. And also, we shouldn't be afraid to admit that we need help and seek that professional help itself. So thank you very much, Cynthia, for your advice. It's been really helpful. All right, so we've got time for two more questions, and there are actually a lot of questions from the YSEALI Facebook live stream and also the Zoom audience. I want to thank you guys so much for being enthusiastic and asking these questions. Amazing, by the way. Now I gotta be confused on how to choose them. All right, so before we go to those questions, I want to ask our live audience here at America, do any of you guys would like to know more about youth efficacy or Cynthia's journey to become the U.S. Youth Observer? Anyone want to ask a question? You could just raise your hand. You guys don't need to be shy. This is a place. Oh, yep, we got someone raising their hands right there. All right, let's give it up. Yes, clap your hands, everyone. Okay. All right, thank you very much for your enthusiasm. Please introduce yourself and also your question.
Okay, my name is Ardi. I'm from State University of Jakarta, Indonesia. Hello. Okay.
Hi, RD.
Okay. Basically, I'm from like a small village in Indonesia. So my question is about how a best way to socialize about mental health, or like a campaign about mental health for like people in the small village especially, because a lot of people in the village, I think, even don't know about the mental health because they always follow all these things about the children and don't know about mental health. Okay, maybe it's enough for me.
All right, thank you very much, RD, for your question. Give it up for RD, everyone. All right, so I think what RD would like to know is how do we introduce the issue of mental health itself, especially in small villages where it is not even a thing, you would say. Yes, so let's hear what you think about that, Cynthia.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, thank you so much for your question. I know how tough and scary it can be to ask questions live. So, I mean, we are just all applauding for you because you are amazing. So thank you for taking that initiative. And in terms of how to introduce it, that's a really great question because that is definitely a big struggle that many people in my community had told me about too. So I think that there are a few things. So at least for the United States, I know that the statistic is that 1 in 5 people suffers from mental health issues, but 5 in 5 people have mental health. the reality is that mental health affects every single one of us. It's not necessarily an issue that we face, but it's quite literally our state of mind and what we are doing to make ourselves feel okay on a day-to-day basis, whether that's self-care or just realizing that it's okay to say no to things. The reality is that by prioritizing our mental health doesn't take a lot. It just takes the active understanding and realization that we all have it, and there are things in our lives that we can actively say no to or do to improve our mental state of minds. So, how to introduce it to a place where people don't even know about mental health? Like I said before, it's less about the definition of the term and more about what we are doing to prioritize our well-being. So, talking and having conversations with people and checking in on them. Maybe you don't have to define it from a scientific level, but just quite literally saying, hey, how are you doing today? Or if you see somebody who's struggling, just saying and asking what you can do to make them feel supported or make them feel better. Self-care and check-ins and building a strong, unified community is so incredibly important to ensuring that our communities have good mental well-being. Another thing too is to do little things to make people feel like their mental health is being prioritized. So, for example, there are a lot of studies that have shown that their mental health tends to improve as they spend more time with family, loved ones, and friends. So, working to schedule group lunches with your friends or take just an hour out of your day to meet with somebody that you love and meet with somebody that you care about and make them feel like they matter, that can help somebody's mental health so much. Even if they don't know the term concept at first, it is something that they will grow to recognize, and creating a space for them to feel like they are safe and well really is the first step in life.
Cynthia? All right. So it seems that we need to refresh something here to get the Zoom going again. But that was an incredible answer from Cynthia. So let's give it up for her. All right. Thank you, everyone. I think what I would also like to highlight from what Cynthia have already said, I think it's true that a lot of Asian communities, whether it be Asian American or even us here in Indonesia, suffer a lot from intergenerational trauma. So it's something that this mental health issue is not something new, but it is something generational that has been brought from our grandparents to our parents and eventually to ourselves. So I think it's also important to acknowledge that and also acknowledge that as a problem so we can find the perfect solution. Thank you so much for asking, RD. You'll get a YSEALI swags for asking that question. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much. All right, so the next question that we've got here is also pretty interesting, but unfortunately, we do not have the time to do another question. But I want to say thank you so much to everyone on Zoom, on the Facebook Live, and here at our live audience that has been interested and wanting to know more about Cynthia's session. So thank you so much, guys. All right, so for our next session, I would love to say some message to Cynthia before we move on. Is it possible to get her back on the line? Yeah? Okay, hello, Cynthia. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Okay, we thought you lost you there for a second. All right. Is everything cool?
Yes, I'm so sorry. I have no idea what happened, but I am back online, and thank you so much for your time and patience.
Great. All right. So that is all we have, unfortunately, for the Q&A session. Fortunately, we do get your last answer, and it's really incredible for you to share that with us. We want to say thank you so much for you for being here on behalf of the YSEALI team at US ASEAN. I'd like to say thank you so much for you, Cynthia, to be here and participating in our YSEALI Youth Day.
Thank you all for having me. Thank you to all the young leaders who have joined us today in this call. Like I said, please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. And I would highly encourage everybody who's on the call and in person to sign up for YSEALI as soon as you can, because it is one of the most amazing programs on the planet. And The team cannot wait to help support you in all of your great work as a youth leader. So thank you again and wishing you a great rest of the evening.
All right, thank you so much. We hope everyone here. Yes, let's give it up for Cynthia. Let's go, guys. All right, yeah, so we hope everyone here is inspired by your experiences. And also, congratulations for your term as the 10 U.S. Youth Observer to the UN. And we'd also like to wish you good luck on your future endeavors. Good luck for Harvard. All right, let's give it up one more time.
Thank you so much.
Okay. What a session. So for our next session, we're going to be listening to our YSEALI Seeds leader on their meaningful project and what it has done for their community. So our first speaker is David Chuck from Arus Academy, Malaysia. Is David here with us? Hi, David. How's it going?
Going good.
All right. Good to hear that. So David Chuck is the co-founder of Arus Academy, Malaysia. He leads the advocacy work and content development for STEAM education and media literacy in Arus Academy. Some of his work with Arus Academy has also been used widely in Malaysia, such as the National Syllabus Textbook for Year 5 Design and Technology, and also is the chief content developer for the Malaysian Ministry of Education free coding education platform, which has seen close to 1 million views since its launch. So, without further ado, let's welcome to the screen David Chuck, everyone. Give it up for David.
All right. Hi, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes,
Is
you
my
are.
slide viewable? All right. So, hi, everyone. A very good evening to wherever you are from across the region. So, as mentioned earlier, my name is David Chuck. So, this will be something I'm going to share to you what we have done in Arus Academy back in 2017. So, we actually got the Seeds of the Future grant about 6 years ago, about 5 years ago. And this is what I'm going to run through in my presentation today. I'm going to tell you who am I, what do I do, what am I, or was I trying to solve, and what is our solution, and some parting words from someone that is soon not going to be eligible for YSEALI anymore. Yeah, like what Cynthia said, you know, I'm 32 now. You can join YSEALI as long as you're below 35. So do join it as early as you can because the benefit is just endless and you just learn so much and you can do so much for your community. So yeah. So who am I? My name is David. So I graduated from McGill University many years ago, about 10 years ago. Right after I come back from Canada, I decided to join the Ministry of Education and teach in a high-need school for almost 6.5 years. For those of you in ASEAN, you will see this program around your country. There is one in Vietnam, there is one in Philippines. There's also one in the US actually. So the one in Malaysia was started out 10 years ago, and it follows the same kind of model as the one in the US, as the one in the UK, where they send they send graduates from renowned university, graduates from young professionals to send them into high-need school and hope that they can bring some change to the school for 2 years. So I joined the one in Malaysia. If you are in wherever country you're from, do join this program as well if you are ever thinking of contributing to education. In my 3rd year in working as a public school teacher, I realized that there's so many problems in education around Malaysia. I'm sure you can see it in your own country as well. And we all need to work together to solve all these problems. So I started Arus Academy with 3 of other Teach for Malaysia graduate fellows. And it has been a 10 years long journey for me in the education sector. In 2016, we received the grants for Seeds for the Future for one of our initiatives. And that is one of our earliest program in Arus. And since then, we have done so many more things, and just one thing led to the others. And I will tell you more about it as I go along the presentation. Right. So I'm sure most of you here, whether you're online or you are joining in physically in Jakarta, the fact that we are here means that we probably spend our time studying. We get into good school, we go into university, and we end up wherever we are at. However, that was not the case for the school that I used to teach, right? So I used to teach in this school in Penang, in Malaysia, which is the northern part of Malaysia, where, education was not the priority for the students here. Those are real classroom photos. 6 years ago, you see the blackboards, and there's a hole there. You have to write around the holes, see fights in the hallway all the time. That's how the classroom looks like, mostly without students. And that's the stats of the school that I used to teach in for 6.5 years. So we have about 2,400 schools in Malaysia. We are among the bottom 100 in the entire Penang state. We are one of the worst in the state. However, I wouldn't blame the school. I wouldn't blame the students. I would just say that for these kids, the way we teach, the way we learn in school was just not the way that it suitable for them. There's this saying that if you ever ask a fish to judge its ability by whether it can climb a tree or not, the fish will feel useless in its entire life. Similarly here as well, these students they have amazing potential. In my past 6.5 years interacting with the kids, we have done so many amazing work. They have gone through many different levels of competition, all the way up to 3 years ago. I even brought the kid from the school all the way to London to present his projects and all that. So these kids, to say that they are bad academically, that's the least of the problem, because for them it's just the way education doesn't work for them. The conventional way of education doesn't work for them. So in first part of Arus, our first thing that we do is to before let me just go into saying what is Arus Academy. So Arus Academy is this social enterprise that we have started. We wanted to empower today's problem solvers through the 3 E's, what we call the 3, the engaging, exciting, experiential learning adventures. We hope to inspire these kids to create a brighter future for everyone. Because let's face it, the world belongs to these young people. All of us here are just caretaker for this world until these young ones taking over the world. What we're trying to do is to make sure they are the problem solvers and they can create a brighter future for everyone, including themselves, their community, and their family. So when we first started Arus Academy, we know we need an education intervention. So we created this thing called Make Academy, where we run after-school program in its very, very prototype way. We run after-school program 3 times per week. We teach them coding, we teach them presentation. This is a very humble shop lot that we have located very near to the school. That is me about 10 years ago, about 15 kgs lighter. We have done it for 2 years, but one of our biggest problems has always been we want to do so much more, but it's so hard to get the resources that we need to do more programs. We know there's so many problems and we know that we have the solution for that, but we may not have the money, we may not have the network, we may not know how to do it. And that's when the YSEALI opportunity comes in. So in 2016, we applied for the YSEALI Seeds for the Future grant, and we managed to get it. So we are, I believe that we are one of the first batches who have gotten the grant, and we are ever thankful for that. So we managed to run Academy for another round. So this time we know, just us doing it is not enough. There's so many education problems around the country. There's so many ways the problem can be solved. We wanted to show our solution to the rest of the world. So we submitted the grant. We got it to do 2 things. Number one, we wanted to do Make Academy again. However, this time we want to do it more a longer term. When we first do Make Academy, it was only for 3 months. So now we want to make it into 8 months, right? So we wanted to go beyond the school. So SMKX, for those of you who are not from Malaysia, it means Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan, which stands for the National Public School, right? So we wanted to do not just SMKX, but also its surrounding area, because we know, if the students who come from the community are facing this situation, no matter which school they go to, they have the same problem as well. That's part 1 of the solution. Part 2, we wanted to bring in, we want to share what we have done. We want to share that what we have done, what we have learned, because if problems are similar, the solution must be similar. If I can solve the problem of my school students in this way, I'm sure that the solution can be replicated elsewhere, and there can be more beneficiaries that can benefit from this. For those of you who are interested, this is how we created our curriculum. Again, bear in mind, this is 6 years ago, 5 years ago, and people don't know the importance of coding yet. We are one of the first pioneer after-school program in Malaysia that does coding program. It's not even in the national syllabus yet. We teach them how to code, we teach them how to present the project, and we wanted to make sure that we build in problem solving into the way they learn. So our students have to see a problem that they discover around that and create a solution based on that. And we do this for 8 months actually. We have classes 3 times a week from 8 o'clock to 9:30 p.m. The kids will just come to our center after school. We have a bigger space now, come to our center after school, and they will learn, and they will try to, think about the solution they can make. And these are some of the projects that my students have made. one team, they saw that, traffic jam is a very serious problem. So they created this prototype solution where, instead of waiting for people to go ahead, you know how in the traffic light, right? The traffic light gets stopped because, the car move at different pace. So they created this system where the car will move automatically. I also have kids who say that, there's so many bullying cases in the school. They created a device that it's like a panic button. The kids press a button and then they alert the teachers, so on and so forth. So our kids, they saw a solution. Our students saw a solution. They saw the problem in the world and they create a solution for that. There's no waiting for people to create solution for that. So they make their own solution. And we have done exhibition. We exhibit to the nearby community. These kids are making solution for a problem that they see in their daily life. So they invited their parents, the community member, the school teachers to come and see the solution. We also presented our solution in external competition, external science fair, external maker fair. And our students were inspired by the project they do. They have taken on different competitions. Do bear in mind the school that I teach in was one of the worst schools in the country based on the school result, and yet they can achieve amazing results from all the competitions they have taken part in. Talent, skills, problem-solving skills are not measured by academic achievement, and my students are an excellent proof of that. Part two of the solution, we created this education forum, education exhibition. But instead of doing it alone, we managed to convince the national, one of the national STEM fair to take us in and give us a very big space for us to showcase what we have done and for us to do workshop to other people. And what we thought that we could impact 100 educators has become an event that we've impacted 5,000 teachers and students all around the country. Right? So this is a bit of information about our impact in numbers. So one of the things you have to do as a YSEALI grant recipient, you have to make a report for that. This is a link to the report. So if you guys want to read it, feel free to click on it and read what we have done so far in this initiative. And you can even see, maybe you get inspired to do the same solution in your own country as well. And my final parting word is that, one of the things that I have learned, one of the things that I think you should realize is that, our work, if you're doing impact work, is never measured in short-term impact. You see, these are our students in that intake of Maker Academy. The one that have circled in, again, this is 6 years ago. The one have circled in, they have now further study. They are either on their way to their first tertiary institution or they're studying in their foundation year. And these students are the first generation university graduates. They will be the first generation university graduates of their own family and their community. I wouldn't say it's all because of the work that I've done, but I would say that our work definitely has played a role in making them to decide on a career path, study path for them, to inspire them to get better futures for them. Secondly, we have done Maker Academy and after school program, and now that whole content has evolved and become this thing called Maker School, where we are actually starting a school right in the middle of KL for the undocumented children. The stateless children, where they are not able to go to the national school. Now they can come to our school where we work with a local NGO and we provide them with essential education. And lastly, Maker Academy, when we first do the Maker Academy after school program, that is our first STEM initiative, and that sets us the stage for us to do even more STEM programs. One of our biggest programs is the Future Skills for All. We have impacted about 34,000 students and we have almost 1 million views on our learning platform. And it all started from having the courage to do a STEM education program and being supported by YSEALI Seeds for the Future grant. So at the end of the day, what I want to say is that I guess my closing parting word is that, Seeds for the Future grant is the grant for you to plant seeds to do bigger impact. You get it, you do some small impact, and that small impact will grow into so much more bigger work. And always remember that, it's never too young to lead. Whoever you are, if you're below 35, do join YSEALI. If you have a community project, sign up, just apply for the grant. Don't even think about whether I will get it or I won't get it. Just go for it, because I always believe that, like what the Muslim always believe, right? If you are doing good, there will be rizqi for you. There will be a way for you to contribute to society. So these are all my social media handles. If you are interested to learn more about the work that we do in our academy, feel free to contact me by my email or follow us on our social media. And with that, I end my presentation. If more questions, come to my breakout room and let's talk more later on. All right, back to you, the stage.
Wow, let's give it up for David. Honestly, David, I am super speechless for how incredible your programs are. I love the aspect of problem solving and also how you find that problem and you teach these kids, these youth, how to utilize the skills of coding and also using programming to solve that problem. That's really incredible. Give it up one more time, everyone, for David and Artist Academy. All right. So I see that a lot of you guys also pulled out your phone when you want to see those reports. So if you guys are super curious about Artist Academy and anything related to that, really, then you can absolutely join Artist Academy's David Chuck's breakout room later. You guys, for the live audience, you guys can go into our Zoom first and then join the breakout room. And for our audience on Zoom, in the Zoom audience, you guys can select the breakout room that David is assigned to. All right, thank you so much, David, for your presentation. So, our next speaker is also very special and incredible here. We've got Hastin Maharti of Diadik from Indonesia here to talk more about her project. Give it up for Hastin. Welcome to the stage. Come here, come here. All right, you got your mic and everything? Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good.
How is it going, Hastin?
I'm good.
All right. Okay. So I think it's better if I introduce you first.
Okay.
Is that okay? All right. So Hastin here, she is an applied social psychology graduate who had experience working as an elementary school headmistress in Depok, West Java, Indonesia. I see that some of you guys are also from Depok, yeah? We're Depok Pride? All right. Wow, that's so much. Right, so she's one of the project leaders of Diadik, the YSEALI Seeds for the Future project in 2021. So Diadik aims to empower Indonesian elementary school teachers in creating a psychologically safe learning environment through social and emotional learning programs. So for the in-person audience here at America, you guys are very lucky because we have Hastin with us tonight presenting live. So let's welcome her. All right. Thank you so much, Hastin. Let's give it up for Hastin.
Thank you, Nasha.
Yes,
Good
have a great
evening,
session.
everyone. Okay, first of all, I want to say thank you to At America for inviting me here. And I also want to say hello for all the audience. Thank you for coming to the At America today. Let me introduce myself. My name is Hastin Melur Maharti. You can call me Hastin. And I am a part of Diadik team. Actually, we have 4 members in Diadik and all of us are here. Hello, Belita. Yeah. So today I would like to present to you about what is social emotional learning, or we call it as SEL, and what Diadik do to promote this SEL. Okay, let me begin. My presentation title is Social and Emotional Competencies, Skills that Matter Across Cultures and Challenges. So I have 2 keywords here. Cultures and challenge. So what is SEL? What is the definition of social emotional competences? And how does it matter to any cultures and challenges? Okay. Yeah. These are the topics of my presentation. I will start it with the background or the phenomenon of Indonesia in pandemic situation. We all know that the pandemic, it's truly have a big impact to students' well-being in Indonesia. And I will go with social emotional learning theory. And I will explain a little bit about what Diadik do in Diadik scholarship. And then I will explain about the implementing of school intervention and about what we do now, our current project, and what the future we will do. All right, before I explain about SEL, I want to know who's here believe that this statement is true and who's here believe that this statement is false. Okay, let me read it. First, when I was a kid, I often felt unmotivated to go to school. Who's here believe this statement is true? Unmotivated? Okay, thank you. So who's here believe that this is false? I always motivated. Okay. Okay. The same number, I think. The second statement is, we tend to feel hesitant every time we want to express uncomfortable feelings, such as anger, fear, and anxiety. Who's here believe this statement is true? Okay. And who's believe this statement is false? Okay. And the last statement, boys don't cry, girls are dramatic. Who's believe this true? False? False? Oh, okay. Thank you, because your response helped me to be more understand about your perceptions to school and emotion. Okay, actually, this is the background of the EDIC project. For the left side, this is in Bahasa Indonesia. I will try to translate into English. This statement is about students feel stress during the pandemic, especially in online learning program. And then even our Minister of Education, Nadiem Makarim, said that online learning makes students feel bored, stressed, or might be depression. And in the EDIC, we have 4 members. And all of us background from psychology, so we have a psychologist, and the other 3 members are the psychology practitioners. And it's a common or a familiar situation. We always heard stories about unmotivated students, or how students easily getting angry while they are doing the online learning. And we also face a lot of stories from people about how they, it's hard for teachers to guiding the students because they face a lot of psychological problem too. But unfortunately, do you know that today's problem in Indonesia is there's still a lack of access to psychologists and counseling teachers, especially in elementary school. As I know so far, especially in public elementary school, there's no psychologists and there's no counseling teachers, or we've known better as guru bimbingan counseling. So, but on the other hand, teachers, they have a big responsibility to motivate the students, or to make sure that the students still feel comfortable doing the online learning. And because of this condition, after some team discussion and after reading some literatures, we found this one, yeah, SEL, social and emotional learning. So what is SEL? SEL definition is the process of developing the self-awareness, self-control, and interpersonal skills that are vital for schools, work, and life success. And a lot of studies shows that people with strong or good social emotional skills are better to cope with daily challenges and benefit academically, professionally, and socially. So this is the visualization of SEL. You can see this. Imagine that this is like a continuous line. Humans start to learn something that more smaller and more insight, which is self-awareness. And then we go to the most complex one, decision making. So I will explain briefly about the definition for each competency. The first one, self-awareness, it's something like more how students give a label or identify their emotions, their feelings, or their strengths, their weakness. So for self-awareness, it is started by a question, who am I? So by teaching self-awareness, we teach students to understand more about their self. By understanding their emotions, their feelings, they will be able to manage their emotions. So after they understand what's my weakness, what is my strengths, I'm happy or I'm sad or what, they can manage it. But if they still confused about their emotion, they cannot manage it. And then we go to something that more outside, that more socialized. It's social awareness. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's something that how students understand that outside there's a lot of people who might have different values, different habit, different background. So after they understand themselves, they can understand others, and by understand others, they go to the fourth competency. It's a relationship skills. The definition of this competency is more about how students build and manage the healthy relationship with people who might have different background. And the most complex one, decision making, is a skill more about how students make a responsible and mindful decision. So these are the definition of the social emotional learning. And in 2021, me and my friends, we made this project. We call it as Beasiswa Daedik or Daedik Scholarship. And after creating a solid module, we do the online recruitment for getting volunteers and psychologists as a trainer and mentors. And then after that, we opened the school selections actually from 50 schools in different districts and provinces in Indonesia. We selected the best ones, so we have 10 elementary schools. And after that, this one is the main project, main activity of the project. We conducted 3 training sessions and 4 mentoring sessions. These are the subtopic of the training. So the first one, we train teachers to how make a proper assessment or how to define the valid problem in the school. And after that, we train them to understand about what is SEL theory. And then after that, the last one is how to make a group or school intervention. And in October, during 1 month, we let them to come back to their school to conduct it their own school intervention. So for example, school B might choose self-awareness as a competency to solve their school problem. But school C, for example, they choose self-awareness or social awareness as a competency to solve their problem in their own school. And after that, in the end of the project, we met again and we conducted this daily conference. Actually, this one is like a presentation from each school. They present the process and the results of the school interventions. Yeah, these are this example of the school interventions activity. We have SDIT Cikijing and MI Torikul Hak Jember. And then we also have the others. Schools from Tanjung Pinang and then from Nagrek. Actually, they made a fun activity. And then, yeah, this is also the example. Okay. For SD Impres Kakas Kasen Tomohon, for example, they created a board game. They call it as Cerdas, Cerita dari Sekolah. So after they pass all the training and mentoring sessions and have mentoring sessions with the psychologists, they decided to choose this self-management as the skills that have to gain in the school. So the problem in the school is some students tend to speak bad words to each other, and it is really distracted to the other children. And then these are the numbers of the impact of the project. And what we have now after Daedik Scholarship is we redesigned and recreated the board game from the school. And I think you can come to our booth and try this board game and give some feedback for this. I think my time is up. Thank you so much for hearing my presentation.
Thank you very much, Hastin, for your presentation. Let's give it up one more time for Hastin. Okay, so I definitely relate to a lot of those questions. Yes, I'm quite unmotivated as a kid, but thank you so much for people like Hastin and Dayadik who has worked together so you guys can introduce that new technique of learning and how psychology is as important to include in the school environment itself. Thank you so much, Hastin. I will definitely try it out the board game later. I have. And everyone, if you guys are curious about Diadic, please do visit the booth because for the live person audience here at America, we do have a Diadic booth outside. So please visit them, talk to them, interact, get to know more about Diadic. And if you want to know and ask questions to Hastin, you guys can join the breakout room on Zoom later. All right. So, last but not least, we have our speaker, Kevin Cuevas of hashtag Grow ASEAN from the Philippines. Kevin, are you here with us?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Kevin. All right, so how's it going, Kevin?
I'm doing great.
Good to know.
Hope everyone is also doing great.
Yeah, we're super excited here. All right, so Kevin is the YSEALI Seeds for the Future 2022 leader for his project hashtag Grow ASEAN. Grow ASEAN project aims to transform Southeast Asian farms into sustainable, digitally connected farms and created localized online communities in key cities in Southeast Asia to spark community-driven support to local farmers. So without further ado, let's welcome Kevin, everyone. Give it up for Kevin.
Thank you, everyone. There. I've shared my screen there. Thank you so much. So for those who it's their first time to know me, of course it is your first time, please do follow me on TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I teach agriculture on TikTok, and this is actually related to the project that we started in 2021. So why am I being followed on TikTok? I am actually a licensed agriculturist. So it's a licensed profession here in the Philippines, just like your medical doctors, dentists, lawyers. But you might be asking now, what do we do as licensed agriculturists? So what do we do? In the Philippines, licensed agriculturists mainly teach agriculture to older people who wants to go into farming or perhaps provide technical services in farm planning or provide training on agriculture specifically. So these are just some of the photos of my students before, and often they are twice as old as I am or perhaps older than I do. And I often get asked, and I had one person say to me one time, why would I listen to you? You are too young. Have you heard that phrase already? Or perhaps you've heard that. A number of times I've heard this. And it really struck me. It shocked me that I would hear such words because I am quite competent as I am. I am very much learned. I have graduated with a degree in agriculture. I've passed my board exam, but there are still people who say I'm too young. And of course, we all have our story. And I'd like to tell you my story here today. So I grew up from a family of farmers. So my mom is from the central Philippines and my dad is from the southern island here in Luzon. So basically, my dad was a rice farmer growing up. They both moved to Metro Manila to find greener pastures. But unfortunately, when moving to Metro Manila, they lived in an informal settlers area where I was born. So this is our house. This is kind of our house. We don't have photos of our house before because we were quite ashamed of that time. Of course, also there's no photos that time. There are no cameras. That was in the 1990s. So we don't have much photos of our living. And that's me on the right in our house, which was taken by my aunt. But of course, living in the informal settlers, there are a lot of diseases. And I was I was bitten by a kind of mosquito called Aedes aegypti, who is a vector for the disease dengue. This is during the first time that was the dengue was becoming huge. And I was hit. I had dengue and I was 50-50 in the hospital. And because of that experience, I wanted to become a doctor because I wanted to also save lives. I was saved by a doctor. I wanted to become a doctor as well. And for you to become a doctor in the Philippines, it takes so much money. It takes so much time. So my dream before was to get in the top-notch university that's free, tuition free. So I wanted to go to the University of the Philippines. Those from the Philippines know how hard it is to get into this school. Of course, this is our top school in the Philippines, and unfortunately, I didn't pass. Even though I I graduated with honors. I didn't pass the entrance exam, so I failed. And then I tried to apply for reconsideration. This is my only chance to get into med school. That was my then mindset. So I tried again for reconsideration. I failed again. And then after 1 year in another university, I tried to apply again, but I failed again. I failed the applications for transfer. For my fourth time applying, because I really wanted to pursue my dream, I was then accepted, but not for a medical related degree. I was accepted to an agriculture related degree, which I am now a graduate of. And because of that, a lot of people, I shared that on social media and then it went viral here in the Philippines for a number of times. And I was covered by media, among others. So, and that was also my inspiration that whenever I feel that my dream won't happen, there's a chance for it to happen because I was able to achieve my dreams, even though it was hard and it took me 4 times to get into my dream school. And of course, as a student of the Philippines, my tuition was paid for by the Philippines. I transferred my knowledge to farmers in our nearby communities. So, this is the picture of my first students who I taught about farming, duck egg farming. I also taught record keeping for them to improve their farming operations. And later on, this would win awards, and I was able to meet the president of our university. Of course, the National Youth Awards of the Philippines. And because of that, I would gain traction also in media, specifically by Rappler, which later on, after graduation, I would join as a journalist. But then, after a year of being a researcher writer at Rappler, I started my own company because I felt empowered and I wanted to continue the journey of becoming a social entrepreneur. And that is also the time that when I was starting my journey as a social entrepreneur, I was accepted to the YSEALI Academic Fellowship and I was assigned to Brown University. And that really changed my life. I was able to meet a lot of policymakers. I was able to meet like-minded people who are changing the world with me. But then I had a very sad story while I was on the way to Rhode Island, where the university is. While I was on the way, when I touched down in the US, unfortunately, my dad passed away. 2 weeks before my flight, he suffered a stroke while riding his motorcycle. And then when I flew to the US because he really wanted me to pursue that scholarship because it would change our lives, he said. He unfortunately passed at the time that I touched down the US. And that really changed my life again. So when I went back to the Philippines, I had this mindset that might be my calling. This might be my chance to really change the world, to help provide impact to a lot of people. And of course, as a breadwinner of the family, I went into a lot of jobs to balance my life, to pursue social entrepreneurship. I went into sales, I went into programming, to writing, I went into programming. I went to a lot of jobs, and that taught me to always go back to your roots. Whenever I feel tired, whenever I feel lost in my journey, I always go back to the journey of my family, that they are former farmers and that we formerly lived in informal settlements. So that brings me to the project that I established in 2021, which is hashtag Grow ASEAN, which is actually helping people building upon the skills that I've learned all throughout the years in digital agriculture. So mixing the programming side, the digital skills, and then the agriculture side. So with that project, of course, as funded by the U.S. Mission to ASEAN and Cultural Vistas, I was able to help people. So also one of our achievements is that we were partners with with the Ministry of Agriculture officially, and I was also able to teach a lot of young kids in digital agriculture. So just digital marketing, GIS, all of those things in digital agriculture, such as data science and artificial intelligence. And we were also able to get more memberships, 25,000 members in just 8 months. See that? Because of the funding, we were able to reach more people. And that does not include yet the people that we have sold produce to, because we were also um, helping farmers reach the market through digital markets. And now this got me thinking, am I too young? Really? It's not even our age that defines what we can do. And this is me saying that you are never too young to lead, because your age is just a number and we can do more impact even though we are young.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much,
much.
Kevin. Wow, that is an amazing presentation. Yes, thank you so much, Kevin, for your time and also sharing your stories. I think it's also great that you're doing a project in agriculture and especially connecting the ASEAN farmers, because as we know, in Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, we have a lot of rice fields. We've got a lot of farmers, and agriculture is such a big thing and big industry in itself. So we, as the YSEALI team, really applaud you for your work with Grow ASEAN. All right. So, if
Thank
you
you.
guys are curious about Kevin's project, if you guys are curious about hashtag Grow ASEAN, you can also join the breakout room session later and ask him many more about Grow ASEAN, and also I think more so than just agriculture, but also how to build that network, that partnership, and of course, starting a business as well. So, if you guys are interested, definitely check out Kev's breakout room. All right, thank you very much, Kevin. So before we go to our breakout room session, can I just say how amazed I am today with the full house that we've got here? It's like we've got everyone here. Give it up for you guys. Yes, it's so exciting. It's so exciting to get out of our house, really, to get out of hiding and just be here celebrating Youth Day together. And not just the full house in the live audience here, but I also want to do shout outs to our 180 participants in our Zoom. It's so great to have everyone here. Thank you so much, Mark, for joining. Thank you to Septia for joining. Thank you so much to JT from the Philippines for joining us. Thank you so much to Bernadette and everyone in our Zoom audience and also in our Facebook live stream for joining today's event. Now, I bet that you guys have also taken a lot of pictures, and there's a lot of photo ops in the booth and also in Ad America as well. So if you guys are going to post them on social media, please don't forget to tag YSEALI_official if you're posting it on Instagram, and also our social media handles, because we will be doing a shout out. All right. So thank you so much, you guys, for that. So for the next session, we've heard from the speakers. We've also heard about their projects and the impact of those projects to their community, their dedication, and honestly, so much more. I bet a lot of you guys are super curious about their motivation, how they dedicated their youth, how they started, and also perhaps on how you guys could also support your project and join the YSEALI Seeds. So if you guys are curious, you're gonna love this next session, because we are going to do the breakout room session. Now, to have a conducive and also meaningful discussion for the breakout session, I hope you guys will be paying attention to the technicalities so you guys can find the breakout room that suits your interests. So for our audience here at Live at America, please stay in this room if you'd like to hear more about Hasin Project Diadic. So if you're curious about Hasan Project, stay here in the main room. But if you are curious about David's and also Kev's breakout rooms, you can join our Zoom through the link. I bet that we also have a link in the next slide. All right, so if you guys are curious about Kev's and also David's project, you guys can scan this link to go into our Zoom and then be assigned to the respective breakout room. Now, we've also prepared a space special for you guys, which is the classroom down the room to the left. So out the room to the left, our staff here at America will also assist you to enter the classroom, shall you need a quiet space to join and enjoy David's or Kev's session on the Zoom breakout room. We also have a Wi-Fi here, you guys, so please feel free to join the guest Wi-Fi. It's simply called Guest, join it if you need it. And for our Zoom audiences, please stay in the main room if you guys are curious to hear more about Hasin Project Diadic. Otherwise, you will be assigned to a breakout room randomly, but you will be able to choose the other breakout room if that suits your interest better. So to do that, you guys can click the breakout room icon on the Zoom's bottom panel. And of course, for our Facebook live stream audience, we will also be you guys will also be welcome to join the Zoom breakout room by joining our Zoom first. So you guys can go into our Zoom and then be assigned to the breakout room. But if you guys would like to hear more from Hasti and of course Diadik, please stay with us in this live stream. All right, so I hope everyone understand how the flow goes and everything. If you guys are still a little confused, our staff here at America is very happy to assist you. So feel free to mobilize, and we hope you guys have a great discussion session. We have 20 minutes, so please be back here at around 8:10. All right, so let's have a great breakout room session, and if you guys are leaving this room, please be back at 8:10. Thank you very much, everyone.
Oke, teman-teman yang mau join breakout room David or Kevin, with your devices, we have a classroom for you to hear clearly, because this room will be used for Hastin presentation, but it's only for 20 people. Okay, it's only for 20 people. Thank you. If you want to join in the classroom, please ask our e-guides. They will lead you to the classroom. Thank you.
All right, so let's enjoy more and hear more from Hastin and her team, Diadik. Let's give it up, everyone. Give it up for Hastin.
Thank you, Nasha. Can I ask for the iPad that I have to use? Actually, the iPad. Oh, yeah. Taruh saja.
Nomor 4 ambil. Nomor 2. Kalau ini, bentar. Ini palingan. Ini harus di refresh. Tapi, udah. Dan ini pertanyaan yang dari sosial media. Sosial media di compile sama tim sosmednya. Gitu.
Oh, ini udah ada berarti ya beberapa
Pertanyaan ya. Tapi ini campur sih.
Oh, campur ya. Jadi
boleh?
kita harus milih-milih.
Ya, boleh.
Okay, hello again. This is Hastin, and now I have a friend. Her name is Belita, and she is an educational psychologist, part of Diadik, and we're gonna have 20 minutes Q&A sessions. Please feel free to ask us about our project or about anything related to the SEL. So. They told us that they have some gifts. So merchandise, yeah, you can show them. Yeah. So anyone here who wants to ask some questions, who will bring this merchandise? And also we have what, Belita? We have Tumblr, we have USB, and yeah. So these sessions will be led by us. There's no Nasha here, so just raise your hand if you want to ask any questions, please. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for the time. Let me introduce myself first. Hello, and dear sister Hastin. Yes, I can call you Hastin, right?
Yeah, Hastin.
Okay, introduce me, I'm Ikram. I'm from South Jakarta. I was building some community that we can call Education Fund for Youth community. And I'm so interesting when you make your movement and your idea and then get some great grant from the YSEALI and also from the United States of America. So I want to know more about, can you explain us about your experiential way when you build your idea and then you make your community, and how you can you give to us your tips and trick to build your paper when you are joining the grant, and also what is your tips and trick when you are where you are present your idea and then you get the grant, and how it's the difficult or not. Maybe you may to tell to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ikram.
Yeah.
Ikram, right. Okay, thank you for your question. Okay, yeah. Which one do you want? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I will try to answer with my perspective. Maybe Belita will continue after my answer. Okay, first of all, actually, Diadic began in the middle of 2020, before 2021, because we were best friends when on psychology in the undergraduate level in University of Indonesia, and then we talk a lot about the education. We talk a lot about psychology, and after that we come to a conclusion that we should do something for the students in that situation, because it was in the middle of the pandemic. And then after that, we not deciding to apply it first, because we talk and like make sure about our idea, whether it's SEL or something else. And then after we make sure about the idea, we decided to apply the grants. So after talk about it, we decided to ask other friends. We have other two friends. They are here now, and then I don't think it's difficult to apply the grants, because
I
we
still kind of forget about the process.
sorry. What?
It's difficult.
No, I don't think it's difficult. I don't think it's difficult. I think as long as your project is clear enough, and then you have the clear community, which community that you will be targeted, and then another thing, important thing is about the sustainability, because I think YSEALI Seeds are really concerned about the sustainability of the project. So in the proposal, we make an explicit statement that after this project, we're gonna help the teachers to redesign and recreate the SEL tools from them. That's kind of sustainability that we propose to YSEALI Seeds grant. Yeah, maybe Belita can.
Okay. From my perspective, to build a good community, we have to choose the topics that very close to our heart. And education, especially in the psychological perspective, is something that very close to our heart because of our profession. I am an educational psychologist, and I so many children in school that face the situation where their emotions doesn't matter, and it's very difficult for them. But their parents don't really care. The teachers also don't really care about their feelings. So that's what make us want to introduce the psychological concept of teaching to teachers and parents and the society in general. So the most important thing to build a good community, I think, is to choose the topics that you really want and you really believe by heart. And what I said, what I intended to say when I said it's difficult, Has, because Hastin, I think, kind of forget about the process and the struggle when we finally get the YSEALI grants. Before that, we tried many times to different kind of competition, yeah, You remember that one? Hastin cried after the presentation because uh, we felt some, and the comment that we get is that it's not really matters.
Yeah.
And
Before YSEALI grants, we applied
Yeah.
for the others, and the judges said it's not important.
it's not important. It's not economically important to us. Maybe because the competition we apply to is from financial sector. So they asked us about what is the economical impact. We got none because what we really care about is the children, right? So after that, after Hastin cried a long time, we think we think hard about how to make it sustainable, how to make it impactful in every kind of way. So we went through many brainstorming process. We went through many competition grants. We applied for many grants, and then after that we got YSEALI. So when you believe about something you really care about, you will try to brainstorm in every way to make it sustainable, I think. So probably that's my tips for you, and that's Hassan's tips for you. Is it already answered your question?
Okay, thank you very much. But I'm still interesting when you apply for the YSEALI. Is this your first apply and then you get a grant?
Yes.
And how long about the process? Is it 3 months or 1 month or something like that?
3 months?
And etc. Can you explain about that? Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the first time we applied for YSEALI Seeds, and then we applied it on November, I think, or December, and we only have
November.
to wait for 1 month after they gave the announcement, and then we have to start the project in the early of the 2021. I think it's around March or April, and it takes 1 year to finish all the timeline of the project. Yeah, you're welcome. Anyone else? Bill.
Which one? You choose.
It's up to you. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, we have to be fair, right?
Okay,
Um,
the woman out there, maybe
At the back?
itu yang paling atas. Yeah,
At the
you,
back.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Before that, which merchandise do you want?
Yeah, is it? There's only
I will
Tumblr
deliver it to you.
and USB. Yeah, which one?
Which one? Do you want USB or the Tumblr?
Check. Okay.
Which one?
Don't you want to hear my question first?
Okay.
Okay. So, first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Molan, and I have graduated college. Now I'm working in a consulting agency. But first of all, before I ask my question, I really want to express my amazement at what you do, because I feel like it's like awesome that you actually care about the psychological state of elementary schools out of all of the students. It's not high school students, but it's actually elementary schools, because I think that they're the most vulnerable, because they feel the effect, but they don't really know how to articulate it. So I think that's really amazing that you do what you do. So my question is, you said yourself that some people think that this is unimportant. It has no economical gain or whatsoever. So my question is, how did it transfer from a passion into a real life project? How do you present the importance of this and the urgency to people? Because, I mean, when you talk about psychological state of students, especially elementary students, I believe that not a lot of people will actually care about that. So how do you sound it out and make people like teachers and local government bodies actually listen to you? So that will be my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The price? Do you want Tumblr or USB?
I think Tumblr, because my laptop cannot read USB.
Okay.
sorry, I cannot go there and take. Thank you.
Okay, about your question, this is something that I usually discuss with Belita. We wonder why people like don't understand our idea, our passion in psychology, and our conclusion is this is something that we have just chat in front of the stage some minutes ago. I think it's because people don't understand the concept of psychology theory, because in psychology there's a lot of like jargons, terms they don't understand. But if we can translate the jargons, the term into something that more related to the people, they will be understand. That's something that I learned from the past experience when I try to apply it, the grants before YSEALI. Because in the competition, I speak a lot about the jargons, the term, so they don't understand what is social awareness, what is self-awareness. But when I try to translate it into something that, like the activity when children labeling their emotion, activity that children try to identify emotion, they more understand my idea and they more feel that it's something that close to their life, and they face it in daily life. Maybe you want to add some ideas about it. Why people don't understand about idea in psychology? Yeah.
Because do you know the definition of mental of health in WHO?
Health in what?
Definition of health.
Of health, not only physical health but also mental health. But the people in Indonesia only care about physical health, right? When you are when you fall down and you cry and then you get injured, people will come to you and help you, right? But when you are sad, when you are upset, no one will come to you. You have to face it, right? Especially in Asian country, right? So the concept of psychology, and even not psychology in general, but just the concept of how important is emotion, is really not something that Asian people care about enough. So that we have to introduce them from the smallest things like emotion. That's why we choose self-regulated learning, to introduce psychology in general to people. But start small, from just maybe self-awareness about emotion, right? Just introducing the how different expression works, what kind of always say data, what kind of factors that induce that emotion, that kind of thing is really matters actually. So just start small. I agree with Hustin, with Cynthia. Just start small. Not really introduce them about growth mindset or about the concept of what kind of concept that very difficult in psychology. Ego and super ego. So, I don't think that's really matter for other people in Indonesia, most of the people in Indonesia. So we have to start with something that really close to their daily life. When I was a counselor in a coding boot camp in Jakarta, most of them are guys, right? Not many female students there in coding bootcamp. And the guys there, my students, my male students, they was very surprised when I said, "You can cry in front of me." And that's the smallest things that I do to introduce psychology to people. You can cry in front of me. You can cry. You are a guy, but you can cry. So when I said that to them, their face looks very relieved, because that's the first time people understand what they feel. So just a small. That's my answer.
Okay. Belita, we only have 1 minute, and there's a question here from Rizky, Indonesia. He is an educator in Texas, and his question is, I'm curious, how did you spread publicity in regards to SEL Indonesia as a professional? And what tools did you use, and how did you find SEL in the first place? And then the second question from him is, how it is difficult to find teachers who are trained in SEL. Okay, you want to answer first? Okay, for the tools that we use in to promote the SEL, actually we have a website, and we created some like fun worksheet there to explain about each competency. And then we also, like what I presented in my presentation, we gonna improve the SEL tools from the teachers who joined the training from the EDIC project. So actually, this is also a social side from the EDIC projects. We not only training teachers, but we also help them to improve the tools, and then we're gonna use it continuously to other schools. And then for the second question, is it difficult to find teachers who are trained in SEL? I don't think so, because there's a lot of schools applied for this project. There were around, I think, more than 50 schools, elementary schools, from a lot of provinces in Indonesia, and I think it's not difficult to find the participants for the project. Yeah. Thank you. We still have time, or it's okay? I'm sorry, but okay. Okay, thank you guys, because the time is up. I will give the stage to Nasha again.
Yay, thank you so much, Hastin. Yes, thank you so much for Diadic, for your amazing answers, and also for everyone here in the audience for asking those questions. I saw so many hands raised. I think it's so great that you guys are being curious about this project. Of course, though, if you still have some lingering question, I believe Hastin is also open for people to contact you through Instagram, perhaps. Yes, and also follow Diadic, yes, on their social media handles. Definitely check them out, and we want to say thank you very much. So we're still waiting on our friends that are in the breakout room. Is everyone good? All right then. All right, so before we wrap up this event, which I'm kind of sad that it's about to end, I'm gonna go in the audience and perhaps randomly ask you guys, what do you think of the event so far? What have you learned? And also, what are your takeaways from the breakout room? All right, so anyone wants to share? Anyone wants to volunteer? Raise your hand. Yep, you. All right. So can we get a mic to her, please? All right. So you could just introduce yourself and tell us about your impression of the event.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Yeah, my name is Dahelia Saputri, but you can call me Dahe. So, in my opinion about this program, actually, it's such a pleasure to me to come to this event, because like we already know it's Youth Day, and then right here with youth people right here, I think it's such a pleasure and such an honor to me to talk, and then like observing people with a great experience and kind of like that way. So what can I say that, yeah, totally, those people, these speakers totally inspiring me, especially as a young. And then like the previous speaker said previously, that we are not too young to lead. So that's why, that's all about me. So yeah, good evening, everyone.
Thank you very much. And what's your name?
My name is Dahe.
Dahe.
It starts with
All right.
D.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Dahe, for sharing. Anyone wants to share their thoughts, opinion? Maybe from this side? Any of you guys want to raise your hands up and tell us about your impression of the event? Okay. All right. So if you guys are still a little shy, I guess I'll shimmy into the audience and perhaps choose someone here, if you guys don't mind. Let's see. You guys look so nervous. Don't be nervous, you guys. This is not a test. We're having fun here. All right. How about you?
Acaranya bagus, Kak. Jadi saya dapat insight baru kayak tadi mental health gitu. Hmm. Ya, gimana, Mam? Suatu pengalaman yang luar biasa bagi kami mahasiswa-mahasiswa, para pemuda untuk mendengarkan pemateri-pemateri yang luar biasa dan luar biasa bagi kami. Benar sesuai slogannya you are never too young to lead. Kita nggak pernah telat, maksudnya kita nggak kemudahan untuk memimpin. Terima kasih.
Yes, thank you very much. So for our audience on Zoom and also Facebook live stream, essentially they're very grateful to be here, and also there's so many great takeaways that new knowledge to learn, of course, with our speakers, and it's been a night. All right, so we're gonna do one more, and this is for you guys. Thank you so much for answering my question. You guys get a tumbler, and we're gonna do one more. So you guys are so excited. Let's go over here. Okay, all right then. Yes, introduce yourself and let us know your thoughts.
Hello everyone, my name is Nina. First of all, I would like to say thank you to YSEALI for this program, and this is such an honor for me to join this event. And I would like to say thank you also for all of the speakers for the material. That was such a great presentation. And I hope for the next event it can be more long, because I do still have a lot of questions, but I have no chance to ask the question to the speakers. So yeah, I hope everyone here enjoy this event, and thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you to Nina. All right. So thank you so much for your guys' message. We take that very seriously, and it's very important for us. So before we wrap up today's event, let's also get a quick message in from our speakers. David and Kev, are you joining us here at the live audience? Hi, David. Is Kev also here? Can we pin Kev? Can we also get Kev to be pinned so everyone can see him? All right. Okay. So while we're waiting on that, I just want to go to our speakers one last time. Is there any last message to our youth here, to our YSEALI friends that you want to share? All right. Let's go with you first, David.
I think I'm going to do it in bilingual because saya boleh cakap bahasa Melayu. Sikit-sikit beza tapi sama-sama sahaja. Anda semua adalah pemuda, dan pemuda memang mampu mengubah dunia. So youth can really change the world, and you are never too young to lead. Anda tidak terlalu muda untuk jadi seorang pemimpin. Jadi saya harap kalian semua boleh mula menjadi seorang pemimpin dan mampu mengubah situasi ataupun mengubah community anda. I hope all of you can become leader and bring changes to your community and to your surrounding environment. That's all. Terima kasih semua atas peluang ini. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Wow, what a great message. And next, can we get one from Hasteen?
Okay, thank you. My last message for you guys is, first of all, I want to say Happy International Youth Day for all my friends from Southeast Asian and Timor-Leste. Yeah, that's true. You are never too young to lead. So I hope that everyone's here got a chance to develop ourselves, to develop the community, whether it's small or big action. And also, I hope there are more opportunities for funding from YSEALI for us, especially for the youth movement. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Hastine. Can we get Kev on the line? All right, hi.
There.
Hi, Kev. How's it going?
Hello.
Do you have a great discussion session in your breakout room?
Yes.
So
yes,
nice.
we had little time. I wasn't able to answer all the questions.
So nice to hear that, though. It's so nice to see that everyone here is super enthusiastic. So, just to get a quick message in, what do you want to say to our YSEALI friends here today?
I just like to say again that you are never too young to lead, and if you are going through struggles now, take it as if something that you are. It's just part of your journey towards that dream that you are going to have or you're going to achieve. Because I was able to do it, you can do it too, and that you are never too young to lead. And also follow me on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram if you want to learn more about how to build your own movement or your social movement. And happy International Youth Day to everyone. And I hope that we get connected. I mean, thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you, Kev. Say hi to your dog for us. He's very excited too. He's also very enthusiastic. All right. So we can't possibly end this event without getting some great pictures. So let's take a picture together with our Zoom audience here, also with our YSEALI team and our beloved US Mission to ASEAN team. So if we can get everyone on the Zoom here together, and also anyone that want to get, yes, of course, Diadic team. You said there's 4? You want everyone to come up? Does everyone want to come up? No, just Huston. All right then. Cool. Okay, I think we've also got this hold. All right, perfect. Yes. Yes, so where's the camera? If we can, all right. So kameranya, that one, all right. Okay. Got it. Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, everyone. For the in-person audience, don't worry. We'll also be having some pictures, so you guys can stay tuned as well for that. All right. So it has been such a great night. Honestly, we're really happy to have everyone here, and we'd also love to get to know you guys more. We want to know what you think. We want to know where you guys are coming from, and also many more suggestions and perhaps evaluation that could help us improve our event. So before you go, there's a survey that we want you guys to fill in. Perhaps we can get the link for that up in the screen. Yes, so your opinions matters a lot to us. You guys are the youth, the group that we care very much about, and we also want to get your thoughts in. So please don't forget to fill out this survey right here and let us know how you're enjoying the event. You guys can scan it or also type in the link accordingly. And this goes the same for our Zoom audiences and also Facebook live stream audiences. Don't forget to fill out the survey. We'd love to know what you guys think. So wrapping up our event today, we've also got Wow, so many sweet messages from our Zoom audience. You guys, thank you so much. AJ from the Philippines said, I learned about community participation that helps our youth become more empathic citizen who could potentially continue similar work when they become adults. And also, we've got a message from Konata Wulandari. I'm so grateful for being here. What a gold opportunity that opened my mind through amazing presentation from all the speakers. Bravo. And Maya Manar would also love to say, this event opened some new horizons of youth experiences to bring impact to their community. That's amazing for me. So well-organized event. Thank you, YSEALI. I'm so grateful for being here tonight. Thank you too, Maya. We'd love to have you here on the event. And everyone saying Happy International Youth Day. And everyone here is so appreciative. I'm so grateful for that. Thank you very much, everyone. All right, so I can't believe that this event is coming to an end. I want to say thank you very much for our speakers, Cynthia Yu, David, Hastin, and also Kev for celebrating YSEALI Youth Day event with us and also being so thoughtful on your YSEALI Seeds project. We're glad to have you here and we hope to see you in more YSEALI events. Yes, all right. So, of course, the greatest gratitude tonight goes to our audience on the Facebook live stream, Zoom, and of course, everyone that has come to At America to celebrate life with us here today. So let's give a round of applause for you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for coming out. We love having an audience like this, and I hope you guys can gain a lot of knowledge and inspiration from this event. And stay tuned to our YSEALI social media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for more information on the upcoming YSEALI events and opportunities. So, of course, if you guys are going to post something, don't forget to tag us. We'll be doing a lot of shout-outs, so that will be great too. I've been your host, Nasha Ayudianti, signing out. Thank you very much, everyone, and happy YSEALI Youth Day!
All right, this is such an insightful night, right, everyone? Thank you so much for your participation. I hope everybody gained lots of insights from today's session. We would like to thank our facilitators today, for our moderator and speakers, for sharing your knowledge with us. And also, I saw you guys taking pictures of today's session, so don't forget to tag us on our social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at AT America. You can also be a member through our website at atamerica.or.id. All right, with that, it is time to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining tonight's event. Again, my name is Adila, and I will see you at the next At America events. Bye-bye.